Okay, everybody, here's the problem we're going to use to help us with our problem set today. Here's your problem set. I'm going to let you guys do these two problems on your own, but I'm going to model with this problem. So first thing I need to do, because we are practicing the RDW process today, is to write RDW. Now, as you probably noticed on the Google form today, I asked you what does R stand for, what does D stand for, and then I showed you what the W looks like today. So, we all know that R stands for read, as in read it like a reader, and read it like a mathematician. So let's read this problem like a reader first. Walter has $173 in the bank. He earns the same amount of money each week for 7 weeks and puts this money in the bank. Now Walter has $208 in the bank. How much money does Walter earn each week? All right, I read that like a reader. Now let's go back and read it like a mathematician. Our first sentence tells us that Walter has $173 in the bank. So I know that he already has that money. It's in the bank. He earns the same amount of money each week for 7 weeks and puts this money in the bank. So I'm going to highlight same amount of money, 7 weeks, because I know that he's earning the same amount each week for these 7 weeks. It's not different each week, it's the same amount. Now Walter has $208 in the bank. I'm going to highlight $208 in the bank. How much money does Walter earn each week? I'm going to highlight each week so I know that I'm not just trying to solve how much money he earned. It's how much money he earns each week. Now that I've read this like a reader and a mathematician, I can go ahead and check my R. It is time to do my drawing. So for my drawing, I am going to use a tape diagram. Now this tape diagram is going to look a little different because I already have some money in the bank. Walter has $173 already in the bank. Now, he adds more money each week for 7 weeks. So I'm going to use this part of my tape diagram for how much money he puts in each week. And I know that he puts money in for 7 weeks. So I'm going to put in 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which gives me 7 squares, or 7 rectangles, excuse me, to show that he puts money in equally for the next 7 weeks. And I know that together, Walter has $208 at the end of the 7 weeks. So he had $173 in the bank. Right there it tells me. He earns the same amount of money for 7 weeks. Here are my 7 weeks. At the end of the 7 weeks, he has $208 in the bank. How much money does Walter earn each week? So now I'm trying to figure out how much this is and how much each of these rectangles represents. So I'm going to use my letters to help me solve this. I'm going to say M equals the number of dollars Walter puts in the bank in total. So this is M. So M is the number of dollars Walter puts in the bank in total. Now I have to figure out how to solve for M. I start with 208 because that's my largest number, 208. And then I go ahead and subtract 173. That will give me how much is left over. And if I subtract these two, that gives me, pause the video and solve it for yourself. Hopefully you decided that gives us, well, I'm going to go ahead and erase this because I want to make sure all of my work makes sense. This gives us M, the number of dollars Walter puts in the bank in total, and M equals $35. So M equals $35. Am I done? No. I know how much money he earns, but do I know how much he earns each week? Not yet. I know he earns $35, but now I need to split that equally into my 7 weeks. So I'm going to use another letter. W equals the number of dollars each week. So I have $35 divided over 7 weeks. That gives me W, number of dollars each week. W, go ahead and pause the video. Tell me what W equals. Hopefully you said $5. Walter puts $5, I'm going to try and write this small, in the bank each week. I have my answer. I did my drawing. Now it's time to do my writing. And our writing, we're going to really start practicing writing like big, strong 3rd grade writers. And we are going to use this to help guide our thinking. We're going to use our race strategy, which you'll notice is a couple of pictures up. That tells me that sentence 1, I need to restate and answer. So when I restate this problem, I need to include Walter. I need to include the name of my character. And I need to talk about or write about what I was trying to solve. And also include my answer. So I'm going to say, I'm restating and answering. So to restate, I am going to say, for 7 weeks, I got that right here. I didn't make it up. For 7 weeks, Walter puts $5 in the bank each week. Period. I did sentence 1. I restated and I answered. Now it's time to go to sentence 2. I know this because this is where I pull information again from my problem. I'm citing my evidence. I know this because Walter started with $173 and ended with $208 after 7 weeks. Okay, I've got my first and my second sentence. Now it's time to move on to my explanation. This is my sentence 3 and on. This is going to take more than one sentence. I solved this by. This is where you write about what this all is. I solved this by first drawing a tape diagram to show the information from the problem. That was my first step. That was just this part. Now I need to go through and explain all the rest. And I need to make sure I include my transitions. Second, I wrote. This is exactly what I did. You guys saw me do this. Second, I wrote the equation to find the difference between where Walter started and where he ended. Now, I can point exactly where I did this. This is where I did that. I started with where he started. I started with where he ended and where he started. I found the difference was $35. I wrote the equation to find the difference between where Walter started and where he ended. Third, I used the amount of money earned and divided equally by the number of weeks. Period. Okay, so that was how I got it, but I need to finish this with my last sentence by writing my answer again. I need to make sure my reader understands that I know how to solve this problem. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to turn the page because I ran out of room, know that Walter put $5 in the bank for 7 weeks. Whew, oh, sorry, that was sideways. Wowzers. Look at all of that work we just did on this one problem. But guess what I can do now with full confidence? I can check off that W. I definitely wrote to explain. Okay, so I explained exactly how I solved my problem. I used our little cheat sheet here so I knew exactly what each sentence needed to include. I restated and answered. I told why I knew this. I showed how I solved it, and then I answered it one more time. Okay, go ahead and practice this on these 2 problems. See how it goes. You guys can show me your hard work on Seesaw.